After Rabbi, we have to connect here now. We have the 3 weeks coming up. Sunday is starting the past of 17th of Tammuz. And we have the Parsha Shavua, which is Shalach Lecha. And then we have the topic of Lashon Hara, to speak about that also, because I'll explain to you why. It says the Zohar Kadosh like this, that come and see how severe is the topic, is the sin of Lashon Hara. What happened, right? As we saw, as we're going to see in the Chumash, that because they spoke Lashon Hara about Eretz Israel, it prevented them from going into Eretz Israel. They lost their right to enter Eretz Israel. So they all had to die in the Midbar. Just because they spoke Lashon Hara about Eretz Israel. So what happened was, that when they spoke Lashon Hara about Eretz Israel, it's considered to be like they spoke Lashon Hara about Hashem. Because who's giving you this land? Hashem is giving you, right? So Hashem is telling you, listen, Eretz HaTovah, it's good, it's a good land. And they're coming and saying, no, it's no good, it's got this problem, it's got this problem, it's got those problems, all kinds of things. So what happened was, right, that because of the sin of Lashon Hara, it was like they rebelled against Hashem, they spoke Lashon Hara about Hashem, so Hashem was very angry with them. And he wanted to destroy Lo Aleinu Am Yisrael because of this. Can you imagine? It was considered to be such a big sin. He wanted to destroy them. And therefore, they all died in the Midbar because of this sin. Another thing, which is very important to understand, this is the reason also why we had the Churban Bet HaMikdash. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, what happened, right? The Meraglim, they went for 40 days, to look out for Eretz Israel, to spy it out. So they went Rosh Chodesh Tammuz, and they came back on Tisha B'Av. This is what it was. Understand? So they came back on Tisha B'Av, they spoke Lashon Hara, and then they started to cry, oh, no. Everybody got nervous, They all believed them. They said, they must be telling the truth, these people. What they're saying. It's true. So they're saying, they believed it. Said, what's going to be, right? We're going to go in there. We're going to die, right? We're going to be attacked. Right? By Hezbollah, by Hamas, right? By Iran, by right? The Houthim, all this, Yimach Shemam. All these people, they're going to attack us. How can we go there, It's dangerous. Too much danger there. So Hashem told them like this, because you spoke Lashon Hara about Eretz Israel and you cried also that night when the Meraglim came back, this is going to be a night of crying for all generations, Tisha B'Av, because of what you did. So the Jewish people caused this foolish thing. What they did? They caused that we should have Tisha B'Av every year until the Biat HaMashiach. Can you imagine such a thing like this? So why? Everything because of Lashon Hara. So you see from there how severe is Lashon Hara. The Rabbi said some very hard words about, Lashon Hara. Number one, there's a nice piece of Chazal. They said like this. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, went to the snake, to the Menachash. So he asked him, it says, right, why do you bite people, What hana do you get from biting them? You're not eating them anyway. So all you do is bite them and inject some venom over there, whatever it is. I mean, you don't get nothing from that, so why do you bite them? For what? So the Nachash, he was clever. So he answered. He says, well, I'm doing the same thing like the people, like Bnei Adam. What does that mean? When they speak Lashon Hara, what benefit do they get from that? Nothing. Why do they speak Lashon Hara? About other people, about other things. Why do they speak Lashon Hara? They don't get no benefit from it. So just like they speak Lashon Hara, they get no benefit. I also, I bite them, I get no benefit from that. But I bite them anyway. Midah keneged midah. You understand? So you see from there, right, that the sin of Lashon Hara also causes these kinds of things. A person, Lo Aleinu, You know what they said, right? Poretz gader right, Poretz Gader, Shachenu Nachash. You know what that means? When a person breaches the fence, the snake comes and bites him. You know what I mean? So you see, right, there's one way to explain it like this, that when a person speaks Lashon Hara, comes the snake and bites him because of that. The snake says, I'm just like you, I get no benefit, but I bite you anyway. Just like you speak Lashon Hara, you get no benefit. Midah can get midah. This is the one thing, that we're talking about. Also the Chazal said, Lashon Hara kills 3 people, right? The one who said it, the one who heard it, and the one that it was said about, the topic, of the matter. It kills all 3 of them. So how is that? Well, how does that work? Just several ways to explain it, right? One way is like this. The one who speaks Lashon Hara, it could kill him. You know why? Because if this guy finds out, that he said this about him, he'll come and kill him maybe. That's one way to say. It could kill him because of that. Also kills him because the snake may come and bite him, because he speaks Lashon Hara. That's number 2. Number 3 also, Hashem, it says in the Chazal that a person who speaks Lashon Hara, he's considered to be menudeh, excommunicated. Hashem doesn't want to look at him, doesn't want to see him, doesn't want to have anything to do with this guy. Person who speaks Lashon Hara. It cuts him off from the Jewish people, cuts him off from Olam Haba also. He doesn't have portion in the world to come. A person who speaks Lashon Hara. So you see that it kills the person who said it in several ways. And then you have the person who heard it, right? The Lashon Hara. So what does that mean he heard it? He accepted it, he believed it. Yeah? Oh, why did you believe it? Maybe it wasn't true. Who told you? Who told you it was true? He assumes that it's true. You know why? Because, if they said it, it must be true. But that's not correct. Who told you it's true? Maybe it's not true. So why did you believe it? So Chazal said, that the one who accepts Lashon Hara is worse than the one who said it. The one who believes it is worse. Can you imagine such a thing like this? So you just think, well, I'm just sitting here, I'm sitting in my chair over here. These guys over here behind me are speaking Lashon Hara. So all I did was I believed it, that's all, and I'm worse than they are. Even though I didn't say nothing. Can you imagine such a thing like this? So again, right, you see the same thing. That Lashon Hara is very, very bad. That the person can lose his Olam Haba, Olam Hazeh, everything. Loses everything. Also, it says in the Zohar Kadosh, a person who speaks Lashon Hara is chayav mitah, is liable to death. All kinds of bad things it says about people like this who speak Lashon Hara. So it kills 3 of them, right? What about the one that it was said about? How does it kill him? Because now he gets a bad reputation, People think, oh, this guy's Rasha, Everybody's talking about him. He did this, he did that, Rasha. So now, nobody wants to deal with him. Nobody wants to do business with him. Nobody wants to believe him or trust him. Because they say, oh, this guy, we heard what he did. Bad reputation. It could be that it's not even true. You never know, right? Or it could be also that he did teshuvah. Whatever he did. So if he did teshuvah, you're not allowed to anymore, to hate him or right, to discriminate against him. You have to forgive him. Just like Hashem forgave him, also you have to forgive him. So that person, right, that it was said about, it also kills him. You know why? Because his life now is ruined. Got a bad reputation, people talking about him. No good. So it kills 3 people. Not only that, the Chazal say like this, that Lashon Hara is like, today, right, we have these ballistic missiles, right? Iran was firing these missiles, right, on Israel. So they're going like 1,000 miles, these missiles. 1,000 miles, it's a long trip. So comes the Chazal and tell you think those missiles are bad? They go 1,000 miles. But Lashon Hara is even worse. Why is that? Because Lashon Hara, it kills somebody. You can say Lashon Hara in Tiberia, right, in Israel, and and it's going to kill somebody in Roma. It even goes further than that missile, right, of the Iranian missile. It can go from the Middle East all the way to Europe. How's that? How does that work? Because what happens is, right, that the Lashon Hara gets out, and people talk. And then all of a sudden, right, you said Lashon Hara over here in Israel, and over there in Rome, now they're talking about it. It's the same Lashon Hara. Why? Because it travels, So Lashon Hara is like a long-range missile, hypersonic missile. It goes all the way to a different country. You know what I mean? They're talking about you over there. They don't even know who you are. They're talking about you. Why? Because they started the Lashon Hara. Lashon Hara is a long-range missile. So it kills a killer. You know what I mean? That's why the Chazal said that Lashon Hara, Chafetz Chaim also writes about this, Chafetz Chaim. He says that Lashon Hara is like tantamount to all the cardinal sins, right? That the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed. So what are the cardinal sins? Shfichut damim, right? Murder, Gilui Arayot, promiscuity, and 3 Avodah Zarah. These are the 3 cardinal sins, right? So comes and says the Chazal like this, that yes, those 3 cardinal sins, they're the worst, and that's why the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed. But Lashon Hara is equal to all 3 of them combined. That's how bad it is. Lashon Hara is equal to all of them. Why is that? Because as we said, right, really the truth is that Lashon Hara is a killer. You're killing people by doing this. It's destruction, So, a person has to be very, very careful, Weigh what you say before you think about what you're going to do and what your consequences are going to be. I'll finish with this, right? We got to do Arvit. They said the Chazal that Miriam and Neviah, right, the sister of Moshe Rabbeinu, she got punished because of Lashon Hara. So what was the story there? The story was, right, that she spoke something about Moshe Rabbeinu. She said, why did he divorce his wife? We're all Nevi'im, we're all prophets, so why did he have to do it? We didn't do it. Why does he have to do it? Lashon Hara. She didn't mean it in a bad way, She meant it in a good way, like because she loves her brother, so she wants to help her brother to go on the straight path. She didn't understand what she was talking about, you know what I mean? She made a mistake. The thing is, the Chazal say, you learn here how severe is Lashon Hara. Why? Because she meant well, she loved Moshe Rabbeinu, and she meant, to L'Shem Shemaim, to say these things. But nevertheless, Hashem said, up, what? What did you say? Again? You said that, huh? Oh, you're going to get tzarat, leprosy, lo aleinu. One of the worst diseases, right, that there is. Lo aleinu, tzarat. And she had to stay out of the camp. When you get tzarat, it's tameh. So you have to leave the camp. You have to leave. You cannot stay in the community. You have to leave. So she had to go out of the community, leave the community for 1 week, right? Until HaKadosh Baruch Hu forgave her, for the sin of Lashon Hara. So therefore the Chazal say, Rabbi Shimon says, right, that Hashem forgives everything besides Lashon Hara. He forgives every sin. So, one person asked me, what does that mean? What, he never forgive you in your life? No, what I meant to say is that if you won't be forgiven until you're punished. They're going to be punish you for that. I mean, there's no way to get out. Even Miriam could not get out. If Miriam could not get out, how are you going to get out? You understand? You're not going to get out for Lashon Hara. So, there's no forgiveness, A person has to be punished for that. Lo aleinu. Even if he does teshuvah, they're going to punish him for that. So, you see from there, right? Again, we see how severe it is, So, remember that, right? All these 3 weeks that we have, the mourning, the tzarot, the right, avelut, the Beit HaMikdash, all these things are because of what? Of Lashon Hara. Everything comes from there. So how much we have to be careful about that. Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen, Amen. Rabbi Hananiah ben Akash Omer, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לחזק את ישראל, לפיכך הביאו בה להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר אדוני חפץ, למען צדקו יגדיל תורה ויאדיר.